This is a Fubar Radio podcast. Go to fubarradio.com for more details. Access all areas on Fubar Radio.
We've got our first guest on the phone.
Oh,
the gorgeous Hayley Leitch. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Really good. I was actually just talking about you because I was saying about how obsessed I am with you on the show. So you are the star of Obsessive Compulsive Cleaners.
Yes.
just to introduce you to people.
I want to be on this show. If I was one, I'd love to be one. Honestly.
But don't you think, like, you're not that messy?
No, I'm not. But it would be great to think, well, I've put my teacup down. I need now to go and put it, I sometimes leave stuff.
Right. That wouldn't be a problem for you, would it, Hayley?
No, it wouldn't.
Because, Hayley, how did it come about? Why are you so obsessive with cleaning? Why?
Well, actually, I've got it's a mental illness called OCD, and it's not as straight sailing as I just clean everything. That's not. I think people get confused what OCD is about. It's not actually about that. So what will happen is I will get a thought in my mind. So it could be that if I haven't bleached the toilet a certain amount of times, something terrible is going to happen. There will be germs and bacteria, and the end result will be one of my children dying. So it's a lot more.
That is
you know
intense,
what I mean?
yeah.
It's a lot more darker than, oh look, this is a bit messy. Let me just scrub it. Like that isn't OCD. Like a thought will happen, and then you get a compulsion.
Right, but you are kind of celebrating that by doing this show, aren't you?
So from doing the show, there's two things the reason I do the show. It gives me a voice for people who also have OCD, so I can obviously speak to them on my social media avenues, which I do.
Uh-huh.
And it makes, I feel like a lot of younger people being a bit more open about it and speaking about it, which I think is always a good thing. I don't feel like anyone should feel embarrassed or worried to speak openly about mental illness, because it's not anything to be ashamed about. It's an illness at the end of the day, and no one chooses to have it. It's just something that, unfortunately, you've dealt a bad card. So that's one thing. And then the other side of it is I absolutely am fascinated by the people who have all the clutter. So every single house I go to, it's like a new story unfolds. And like the last one with Wid, he had so much stuff, I'm not even joking, but he was the nicest man. Like, he genuinely was like Father Christmas. He was joyful and
bags of clutter he gave you. There's a present.
Oh, this was the one that was in America, right?
Yes.
Yes, so, I saw that.
Yeah, it was in America, and it was just so bizarre, and it was such a struggle to get there, because I'm really scared of hippos. I'm really scared of flying. And I got there, and it was just like, it was so surreal. And then everywhere you went, they're like, would you like cheese on that? Would you like cheese on that? And you're like, it's an apple. Are you joking me right now? Honestly, it was just the most bizarre experience. It was amazing. It was incredible. And Wid is just delightful.
But in that, you also, if I remember correctly, you got a bit upset at one point because he offered you, was it a cookie or something that he'd made?
He made a cinnamon bun.
That was it.
But he'd made it where he decapitated a mouse's head.
Oh,
like literally, like the whole mouse. It just splattered.
Are you for real? What do you mean? Why?
Well, because the mice, where he's got so much like just stuff around, the mice kept coming in. And they were like all over his cooking pots, all in the over the oven. And he really don't like mice. And so he caught one, and the whole thing just like exploded. And I was like, oh, I absolutely can't eat that cinnamon bun now. Like, and he really wanted me to. And then I felt bad because he'd been baking all day, like Mary Berry. And I was like, weird, I can't. I'm sorry, but I just can't.
Well, but you
I
did.
don't think many people would eat that.
No, and that's fair enough. But you got upset because you were worried that it came across as rude, didn't you? So that's like where the two sides of the coin really like come together, isn't it? Like on the one hand, you were like actually crying because you didn't want to turn down someone who had made you food, but at the same time, your compulsion meant that you couldn't eat the food.
Yeah. I couldn't, because I genuinely, I said on the show that cinnamon bun, people would look at it as a cinnamon bun, but it wasn't to me. In my mind, it was a cat-infested mouse juice roll. It was no longer a cinnamon bun. That had gone out the window, the cinnamon bun.
But why do people, there's two sides, because obviously you are obsessed with cleaning and have everything perfect, whereas he wants clutter and mess and doesn't...
Well, no, but he doesn't see it as clutter and mess, isn't that the point?
What does he see it as then?
They're his things, and it's kind of company. So
like a safety.
His wife sadly died, and I find this with a lot of them. A lot of the places I go to, like there was another lady that I went to, and she said, her things are like her family. And I struggled with it at first because I thought, gosh, what a way to treat the family, shoving them under the bath. You've got like pots and pans under there, and you're like, let's just put them under the bath and it's fine. There's mouse poo over them. But she genuinely had a love for all of her things, and to let go of them, it was just overwhelming for her. The same way that for me of eating the porridge or the cinnamon roll that Wiz had made for me, it was just overwhelming. I couldn't do it, so I didn't.
And will you be channeling these things into your book? Or have you, rather, sorry?
So, no, my first book is about OCD. The second book that I've written is actually about my life as a homemaker. So I feel like us homemakers don't get enough recognition. I really don't. It's like a 7-day-a-week organisation. And I hear so many times like, oh, so you do nothing. And it's like, oh my God, are you actually winding me up right now? Like, I absolutely do so much stuff, like from the drop-offs with the kids, and then the bins get ripped open by the foxes, and all of a sudden I've got to become the fox whisperer and try and coax them out of the bin and stop them from tearing my bins open. It is the worst. So I think that's why I've done it, to kind of almost like, so people don't feel so kind of isolated as a homemaker, because it can get lonely.
Yeah, I bet.
I can imagine. I mean, I'd love you around my house. Do people say, come round and tidy up? Or is it only your own mess, if you know what I mean? Is it only your house that you need to have, really clean? Do you go into your friend's house and think, oh my God, there's
mouse
bowl?
poo.
Yeah, no, but there's a bowl with a, empty cereal bowl or something on the table. I need to put it away. Or is it just for your own?
It varies. It depends. I mean, obviously on the show, because it's so bad, it obviously is like that shock factor where it's like, oh my God, like I can't cope. Like my mind just goes into like overdrive. But obviously I don't really know anyone that's that untidy, really. So
yeah.
I haven't really ever been faced with it, if I'm honest.
So your friends might be a little bit messy, but they're not like, it's not living in filth. That's kind of
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why, Lizzie, what's your house like?
No, it's clean. I've got a lovely Irish cleaner. I have, I'm very to be sure.
How lovely!
So she's very good, but it's only it's only because I'm dashing about. So I'll have a cup of tea and I'll leave it. It's not it's not messy,
And you live in the country as well, don't you?
I'm in the country. It's a little country old barn.
Oh,
but
cute.
But it's a big old gaff really to keep clean, but. I'm lucky I've got help. I'm lucky because I'm rushing and dashing about everywhere.
Parties,
I
darling.
have a room with clothes, which I think you'd be a bit scared about. I mean, that is something else. I might have to build an extension for the clothes because they're in one place, and I'm like, oh my God, I really need to sort this room. There's so many clothes, but it's weird what people do. Do you really honestly think though something will happen bad if you don't do it? I mean, have you ever thought, right, I've got to test myself and nothing bad will happen?
I do. I have to. This is the thing. Every day, it's like a daily thing where I have to push myself. So, there's so many different things. Like, it's not just based around cleaning. Like, I've followed ambulances in the past, convinced that because my son was on a school trip, I was like, oh my God, there's 2 ambulances driven past on my way to an eyebrow appointment, and I had to turn my car around, follow the ambulances, because I was convinced that the coach must have come off the road. I had to get there.
Oh, I'm like,
about... some sort of sergeant safety, because I am like, oh God, I need to get there and save, the poor children that are in the coach that's tipped over. And actually, of course, the ambulances were going completely the other way. They were going to Croydon. But I still had to do it because it's something in my mind that I just have to act on that kind of urge, if you like. So,
but would you ever think of going to some people like the Speakmans that can help and stop it, or do you quite enjoy being like that?
No, I don't enjoy it at all. I wouldn't do that because I just think I've found my own ways of coping, and I think it's quite a personal thing. Like, I'm not saying that one thing will work for everyone. Like, I mean, you know, the show works for some people that are on there that are diagnosed with OCD, others maybe not so, but I think definitely for me, kind of pushing my boundaries and being taken out of my comfort zone, that definitely is helping me. And I have also started practicing yoga,
good choice.
which is doing really good for my like breathing and my anxiety, because I get really anxious.
Right.
So if I get anxious, I find that my OCD is so much more heightened.
Are you more relaxed on a holiday? Will you switch off or not?
I don't actually go on holiday.
What? Why?
Because I just don't, because I worry about the plane crashing. So I just, if I go anywhere, it will just, I stay UK mainly, which is why America was so hard for me, because I genuinely thought I was plummeting down into
I've got a bit of a fear of flying. I'm not a great flyer.
No.
That must be horrible.
You know,
but I don't not that bad. Oh, bless you. Oh.
Yeah, so.
Well, do you know what? I can't wait to see the show. I didn't see Tuesdays because it was my birthday, 2nd of May. But I will make sure.
Tuesday.
Thanks, darling. But I will definitely watch the next show. It's on next Tuesday, is it? On Channel 4,
it is,
8 o'clock. We'll look forward to that, my darling. Well, Hayley, thanks for coming on Fubar.
And
I can't wait to read your book.
Exciting. Shall I send it to you as a birthday present,
Oh.
Yes.
Maybe you could learn something, Lizzie.
Please. Yes, please. What, tidying up? Yeah.
Yeah, I think you need
yes,
to.
please. Thank you, Hayley. That's so sweet of you. And thanks for being on the show.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks,
Bye,
Hayley.
darling.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.